All right, guys, let's get started. Uh, this is Shravanti from Marketing. Thank you all for joining this webinar, which is being presented by Oracle and Suneratech. Today's topic that we will be discussing is on 5 key considerations when migrating your data center to Oracle Cloud. Well, I know this is such an interesting topic. By the end of this webinar, you should be able to learn what it takes to pick the right cloud provider and learn the importance of network connectivity. Also, you should be able to determine approach while migrating your data center to cloud. And at the end of this webinar, we will be having a 10-minute slot, which is open for any questions. But this, can we have the next slide? Yep. We have Srinivas Chitrapu as a presenter. He is the VP for Cloud Infrastructure and Managed Services for Suneratech. Srini has a vast experience in helping clients implement and manage their enterprise as well as cloud infrastructure. He'll be talking about the data protection and why having an eye on execution is a key for data center migration success. And we have Tom Kopec as a co-presenter. Tom is a senior alliances consultant with Oracle. Tom has been a member for the Oracle North American Channels team. He focused specially on partner cloud enablement. In today's webinar, Tom will be specifically talking about the Oracle Cloud Practice Strategy and how adding additional components to our data protection and security enables a successful cloud migration. With this, I would like to hand it over to our first speaker, Srinivas. Over to you, Srini.
Thank you, Shravanti, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's on the call. Like Shravanti said, we're going to cover, what it takes to migrate a data center to cloud, 5 key considerations. There's many, but I believe these 5 that we're going to cover today are the most important, and we'll delve into them. But just a quick introduction on how, a cloud journey typically manifests, right? In the last 10, 15 years, the focus in IT has been on automation. Products like Chef, Ansible, Puppet, mCollective, and obviously virtualization as well. So, with most data centers virtualized today, the move to cloud kind of becomes easier and more of an evolution than a revolution. And that's kind of where we are today. But this again is a journey. Migrating to cloud, IaaS or PaaS, is a step towards digital innovation as companies look to differentiate themselves, benefit from the reduction in costs and TCO with cloud, the efficiencies, and be able to funnel some of those budgets and funding towards digital innovation. Just a quick overview of Sunera. The company was founded in 2004. We have over 1,200 team members actually worldwide, and we have over 300 customers at this point, globally across all our platforms. As a company, we are partnered with Oracle and migrated over 500 workloads to cloud. Our complete data centers, Oracle applications, non-Oracle applications include Microsoft and IBM as well. So there's just a quick overview of Suneratech. Looking at cloud, from a horizons perspective, we view this as in terms of 4 horizons. The immediate horizon 1 being migrating to a cloud. So you move from your on-prem or your colo, you move from your dedicated hardware to a true cloud infrastructure, which brings along the usual agility, scalability, availability, and performance. But that's just horizon 1. That's just step 1 on your journey. Ultimately, it's all about data monetization, right? So one of the benefits of going to cloud is you're able to assimilate your data better, bring different sources of data together, and this is where you've got capabilities like big data, data lakes, which in turn enable machine learning and AI. So the next step, the horizon 3, is being able to leverage all this data in terms of reporting, whether it be through Tableau, Oracle BI, whether it be through some other product. So it could be technology specific. So it could be Oracle products end to end. It could be a combination of Oracle, Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud, and SAP products. But ultimately, you have to be able to find the right tools to be able to leverage the first 2. So once you're on horizon 3, you move on to real digital experience. This is where different products come in. This is where you can leverage the cloud marketplace, be able to get products for your supply chain. eSeal is one of the products that Suneratech has. Products that benefit your marketing. Meltag is another product we've got. Chatbots, ServiceNext is Suneratech's chatbots. Of course, there's other products out there. So ultimately, if you look at the cloud journey in 4 horizons, move to cloud, be able to leverage data, productize, so you have complete ability to manage and monitor your data, and then ultimately, of course, the customer experience. Just a quick representation of our global clients at Suneratech across multiple industries, and of course, multiple services provided across these industries as well. Some pretty popular and famous logos over here. Okay, so let's dig right into our topic for today. Migrating a data center cloud. Many companies have already embarked on this journey. They started several years ago. Some companies are just starting this journey and are looking for the best way to, begin, how to approach, what it takes, what to consider, and that's what today's topic is about. Again, if you're not properly prepared, it's easy for things to go wrong, and the last thing you want is to spend several cycles and a lot of dollars and end up, in a stalemate situation. So I'm going to pause here. Tom, do you want to add anything at this point? In terms
yes,
of,
your timing is perfect. I was going to jump right in. So yeah, hey everybody, it's Tom Kopec with Oracle. And one of the things I want to bring up when we talk about migrating your data center to the cloud is get help. Utilize somebody with expertise in moving and has been successful moving to cloud. Our partner Suneratech has, as you'll see throughout the session, has had a number of successful migrations to the cloud. And everybody on the call knows any migration work of any type there's going to be something. There's going to be a gotcha. The best thing you can do is get the right partner in to help you with the migration who has been through the gotchas and they know what to expect. So my guidance there is get some assistance when beginning this migration to the cloud.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. So again, directly from Gartner, there's some other numbers behind this. By the end of this year, 80% of IT organizations have either got presence in cloud or definitely will. So that's one of the numbers that I've seen in the very recent past. Again, as you can see, you could just simply shift everything to cloud, but we prefer more of a move and improve approach. So there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. Your data center has probably proliferated over years. You've got a lot of applications and infrastructure that could probably be retired. And those are some of the considerations, to be taken up front. So you're maximizing the efficiency and not a garbage in, garbage out situation. All right, so again, key differentiators and key considerations that we'll dig into the 5 right now. The first is picking the right cloud. Make sure there's multiple providers out there, obviously Oracle Cloud, there's Amazon, there's Microsoft, Google, and a couple of other smaller ones. But picking the right cloud for your workloads and applications, that's key. If you have primarily Oracle applications, then you want to see where they perform best. If you've got Microsoft Office, then you got to make a decision on where that moves first. Tom, you want anything to this part? The very first bullet here.
Yeah, you kind of hit the key point. Is look at your workloads and where does your workloads fit? And to Srini's point is if it's an Oracle environment, Oracle workloads are going to run best on Oracle. If it's another environment, Office 360, for example, can you run Office 360 on Oracle? Of course you can. Will it run best? Probably not. Probably runs better on an Azure environment. So my comment is look very closely at your workloads and understand, where the workloads, who's the vendor of those workloads, and understand they'll probably run better in those environments. To our point is Oracle environments are going to run better on an Oracle cloud-based environment. Good.
Absolutely. The other thing to consider is licensing. All your products, all your applications are licensed today. So just work out, where the licensing best fits. And that very well might follow the performance as well. But, where can you repurpose and reuse your existing licenses without investing further into the migration? The second key consideration, and we'll dig into each of these, by the way, in further slides, is architecture, network connectivity, security, disaster recovery, and backups. So when you architect, you can take all these into consideration, including connectivity back to your current on-prem or current colo, your current branch offices, whether you're on an MPLS network or some other topology. You got to make sure that is taken into consideration. So the cloud you select or clouds you select can interoperate seamlessly with your existing infra. Not just through the migration, but post-migration as well. The next one is,
and this point
go ahead,
number,
Tom.
let me jump in here real quick. This point number 2 is key because this gets especially the networking capability gets forgotten many times. So, and Srini indicated, that has to be part of that architectural design. And in addition to that, linking back to your existing platform environment. So that needs to be all built into there. And again, as I said a moment ago, this is where an experienced partner can help you out.
Yep, absolutely. The next is, again, once you pick the right cloud, you've got a topology, you've got an architecture, it comes down to how do you migrate? There's multiple approaches, lift and shift, which is basically just picking up the application or operating system and moving it over. There's, the option rehost, which is basically, you move the application over, but you might need to modify the OS or upgrade the operating system or something. And then, re-architecture is something else to consider. Are you willing to move parts of your application to a PaaS platform? Will certain applications be best suited to a SaaS solution? So that's point number 3. Anything to add on that one, Tom?
No, you got it covered very nicely. Again, everybody's going to be a little bit different with their migration. So look at each piece.
Exactly, and number 3 and number 1 go hand in hand, right? So as you're categorizing your workloads, as you're determining which applications, which enterprise to move to cloud, you'll have to start determining how best to move each of them to cloud. There's no one size fits all. There might be one size that fits most, but not one size that fits all. The next one is data protection. This is encryption, managing against vulnerabilities. Virus scanning, backup and recovery, disaster recovery also falls under data protection to some extent. Again, any enterprise moving to cloud for the first time, network and security are one of the top considerations. So we want to make sure that, when you design this, when you plan this out, security is considered upfront, not just from an architecture standpoint, but also from a tool standpoint, right? How are you going to address?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? How are you going to address endpoint encryption? Go ahead, Tom.
Sorry, Srini, I interrupted you. I apologize. Yeah. The encryption is key. I mean, it's you guys know as well as I do, is you're moving data from a on-premise environment to a cloud environment or wherever you're moving it. You don't want that data exposed. So that is part of that design and implementation process needs to be taken into consideration. So key point to keep in mind.
Yep, thank you. And ultimately, it comes down to execution, right? You got the right architecture, you pick the right cloud, you know how to move, you're taking care of security. Now it comes down to performance, availability, functionality, testing it all, bringing it all together so you can really cut over, from your production, your current production into your cloud services.
Yeah, and just add to that. I mean, one of the benefits of the Oracle platform that we're going to try to touch on a little bit further is the Oracle platform, Oracle cloud environments are built for enterprises. They're built to run production systems. They're not built for a developer or to run small-time environments. They're built to run enterprise systems. So keep this in mind as you're going through your decision process, working with your partner. Make sure you get an environment that's built to run your business fast. The last thing we want is any delays around network delays and that type of thing. So make sure you're looking at that closely as part of your decision process.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of partner, right, it's not just about what to do, it's about what not to do, right? So that's where the experience comes in. That's where the partnerships, ability to understand the infrastructure, ability to navigate the journey, that's critical. All right, so moving on to our first consideration, picking the right provider. So as mentioned earlier, your workloads, enterprise applications, it could be Oracle PeopleSoft, EBS, high performance computing applications, business intelligence, productivity software, anything else, right? Every workload comes with an existing operating system, an existing footprint, an existing application version as well. So it's key as you move from your current environment, which has probably been stable for a good number of years, to cloud, you address the compatibility as well. So you got to make sure that the version of the application and operating system you want to run is compatible in cloud. I mean, there's ways to move, lift and shift, emulate software and hardware, but the best way to move it is to clean up a lot of this before moving to cloud. So you start from scratch. So there's a lot of upfront planning around that. I think we already discussed licensing. Every cloud vendor has different licensing for products. OCPU versus vCPU, sockets versus threading. The way they charge for the shapes. Whether it be Intel platform, AMD, the amount of memory. Certain shapes are more geared towards performance. Others are geared more towards throughput and capacity. And so your licensing will have to be in accordance with whatever you pick in cloud. It's not always a one-for-one. So keep that in mind. The next thing is proximity. When you pick the right provider, you have current data centers, current colos, and you want them to be able to connect to cloud. So make sure the geographic location is known. And that's not just from a region perspective, it's also a network location, right? You need to have network connectivity back to your current data center, back to your current backbone, the ability to plug into your current MPLS network possibly, or any other topology you're leveraging. Tom, anything you want to add?
Let me add to that proximity item real quick. One of the things I want to make sure everybody's aware of on the call, Oracle is continuing to expand our data center presence worldwide, and we have just announced additional data centers that are now opening in other locations around the world, in addition to the data centers here in the U.S. So we just opened India, Japan, and China. Have just opened recently. Brazil is probably slated for opening this month too. So if you're concerned about Oracle data centers worldwide, we are growing very, very quickly and opening up data centers very, very quickly.
Next time. The next one is network connectivity. So, this is where latency and bandwidth come in. It kind of plays along with, the previous topic, but again, how do you connect back? There's two options typically for any cloud. One is dedicated connectivity, whether that be Oracle's Fast Connect, Direct Connect with AWS, or I believe it's Express Route for Azure. You have dedicated connectivity, or you can use IPsec or VPN. And that's a combination of the cost, the amount of data you expect to transfer between your branches and your locations back to cloud. Obviously, from a stability standpoint, you want to make sure you have at least one of each, if not both. And then finally, of course, security as well. This is the network security. Firewall, every cloud provider typically has firewalls and load balancers for SSL offloading. I think, Tom, you can elaborate a little bit on the security in Oracle Cloud, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things with security in Oracle Cloud, I mean, what we touched on this earlier is the encryption. Encryption is there by default. So any data movement, any data being stored your data that's being stored inside Oracle Cloud is automatically encrypted. And bottom line, so guys like Tom Kopec can't get to it. So your data is protected across the board inside Oracle Cloud environment. And we've built it very specifically for this security capability. As we all know, everybody out there is concerned about security, so we built it into our cloud. Going back to a statement earlier, we built our cloud for enterprise business. Obviously, security is a key component to that. Good, Srini.
And we will have Q&A at the end of this, so please do. If you want, I think you can use the chat. Shravanti, I believe you can use chat to send questions in advance as well, so we can kind of answer them through the through this conversation. but we will have a separate Q&A towards the end of this. So again,
Yes.
recapping the first two. Thanks, Shravandi. So recapping the first thing, pick the right cloud provider, make sure you can connect to the cloud. And then, of course, the next one we'll go into is the right approach, right? So lift and shift is typically, you do not change the operating system. You do not have to change the application version. You may be moving from Hyper-V or VMware to KVM, but everything else remains the same. Except for you get more agility and lower cost and all the good stuff in cloud. But this is typically the simplest approach. Rehosting, there's multiple definitions of this. I know some companies have got 6-hour approach, but from a rehosting perspective, the way we look at it is you're moving the application over. It's hosted on one platform today. It's going to be hosted on a different platform tomorrow, but the application doesn't change much. It's still the same application, the same database. An example I'll give you, a lot of customers are moving from Red Hat to Oracle Linux and cloud, right? The advantage, you don't have to worry about the licensing. Certain licenses are included, which is why, one of the first things you want to consider is licensing. How much you're paying for VMware licensing. If you go from VMware as your hypervisor to move it to cloud, there's a good likelihood you won't need those VMware licenses moving forward. So that's lift and shift, and then rehosting as well. Again, rehosting, your application might need to be tweaked. You might need to upgrade your application to be in compliance, to have the best, bang for buck in cloud. And the third thing, again, like we discussed earlier, is re-architect. This is typically when you have an application where you want to move your database off to database cloud service rather than maintain and manage your own database. There's other services possible. You could go to integration cloud, for example, take away some of the integration, homegrown integration or a best of breed integration you have today, and move it to a true cloud service. Tom, anything you want to add in terms of analytics as well? I believe that's another option here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you touched analytics very simply is a great add-on. So looking at your environment, looking at the work you're doing, understanding your business, whatever it might be, there's an analytics cloud solution we can also add into this, which is kind of goes back to my earlier point. Is this particular area is where you need to work closely with your partner, because you have to keep in mind is when you lift and shift, yeah, your environment is probably going to be look and feel the same, just living someplace else. But if you actually going through a full change, maybe shifting to a SaaS environment, for example, you're going to impact your organization. So these three areas are very key to work with your partner, understanding the impact to your business and to your company. And a step further, we touched on with analytics a moment ago, where we can add additional capabilities onto the environment to help with your business that much more. And what's nice with an Oracle environment, a lot of these capabilities, we call these platform as a service offerings, are available to you when you move to a cloud environment. Good, Srini.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you. Again, I think Shravanti has put the message out in the Zoom chat. And if anyone's got questions that they want to answer at this point, happy to answer them. We do have Q&A coming up towards the end of this presentation. Data protection, again, extremely key. There's backup and recovery. You have the opportunity to, backup to object storage, replicate across regions, encrypted backup, encrypted, in transit as well. You can decide to use another tool for scheduling your backups and your recovery, make it a little more granular, or leverage the capabilities that cloud has natively. Disaster recovery, same thing. There's multiple approaches. Or obviously, you can use Oracle Data Guard for Oracle databases. You can use SQL Server log replication for SQL Server. When it comes to middle tier, when it comes to unstructured data, you could either use something as simple as rsync, but you can also go and use more sophisticated tools to truly orchestrate your backup for RTO and RPO that's specific to your business. The disaster recovery actually plays a part also in the very first point, which is choosing the provider. make sure you have the right regions mapped. Every provider has multiple regions, both within the country as well as across the world. And you want to know where your production is and where your DR is for each of those environments. Ultimately, data at rest as well. Encryption end-to-end. If you're not aware, FIPS compliance is something most businesses need. And HSM, of course, is the hardware security module for storing keys, encryption keys. Anything to add on this one, Tom?
Yeah, and just a couple of points, and this is more of an Oracle commercial here. Keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, when the data is in Oracle Cloud, everything is encrypted. We also will automatically back up all the information. So keep in mind our approach from an Oracle point of view, as I said earlier, we're an enterprise-based cloud environment. So we make copies of all the information, all the data encrypted across multiple physical data centers. So you can be comfortable with the fact that if something happens, something happens to a data center, if you will, your data will be backed up and there'll be secondary copies available. And covering really all three of these requirements, but that the key thing is it is encrypted, it is totally protected for you.
And on top of the, features that cloud comes with inherently, we've got a suite of tools that we develop, and not develop, but we deploy. Suneratech does to cover everything related to vulnerability management, penetration testing, endpoint detection and response. And these are tools that have been tested in cloud for performance, for compatibility, and they just work. It takes multiple iterations to make sure we've got the right tool set for each cloud. If not, you spend a lot of cycles in doing your analysis and assessments and even testing, evaluation basically. And ultimately, it's a long drawn effort, but we've got the best of breed tools to address each of these requirements from a security standpoint as well. Security itself is a completely different topic. We'll have a separate webinar on that in the near future. Finally, it comes down to execution, right? So you decide on which cloud to move to, how to architect that cloud. You've decided how best to migrate all the applications to cloud. Very importantly, how to protect it from a backup and recovery disaster security perspective. Now it comes down to bringing it all together and executing. Step one, make sure you've got good benchmarks, performance, throughput, response time, functionality, everything in your current footprint. That's key. So every application you plan to move to cloud should have a set of criteria to assess its capability and performance, right? Because that becomes your foundation. And when you move to cloud, you're going to compare all your results to the exact same set of tests. The next is SLA. There's a lot of flexibility here. This is where cloud managed services provider comes in as well. In addition to the SLAs inherent to cloud, there's incident response, other requirements. And you got to make sure you have very clear SLAs so you know what to expect. Many times, companies are giving up a lot of control as they move to cloud and to a service provider. Giving up control doesn't mean giving up, feature functionality and SLAs. If anything, it should be better. So make sure current SLAs are very well documented so you have something to target in cloud. And even once you move to cloud, there's a significant stabilization period. The cloud migration process typically begins with non-production environments going in first, run books being updated, any kind of network glitches, any kind of access issues, everything is sorted out before production begins to be migrated. And even after that, typically there's a 2-week stabilization before production, the old production is shut down. And then you don't just, shut it down and move it off the data center. There's a couple of weeks to, maybe in 4 weeks before all the old hardware is decommissioned completely. So you kind of this 6-week period where you're completely in cloud, stable, monitored, and fully functional. Tom, I'm going to add on this one.
Yeah, let me comment on a couple things. SLA, first of all, read the fine print. All the cloud vendors will make SLA promises, but make sure you look at what's underneath the covers and what SLA really means. Is an SLA a scheduled outage, is that part of the SLA or is that something in addition? So my guidance is when looking at the various cloud vendors, look at that SLA and really what that means. Again, look at the fine print as part of that discussion. Stabilization and cutover, as Srini mentioned, this is key. You need to have a period of time, and Suneratech will provide that for you, is this time to make sure, all right, once we get over to the cloud, Oracle Cloud, hopefully, everything is working as planned and so on and so forth. That's a very, very key area. So nice job.
Yeah, great, thanks. So we got actually a question. Venkat asks, what kind of network monitoring and SIEM tools are available for cloud subscribers? So I can talk, with Tom on the call, I can talk, a little more comfortably about SMAC. So is the management analytics cloud. So the ability to, it's part of the overall management cloud infrastructure. It's got a suite of tools, and SIEM capability is one of them. So when you subscribe to Oracle Cloud, for example, again, Oracle Management Cloud, bunch of tools that address SIEM, SMAC comes to mind. And there's other tools that you can use for resource management. Tools that you can use that are similar to Terraform, to help you build the infrastructure, and all the monitoring capabilities are in there. These tools are part of your overall credits, cloud credits. There's no, if you buy cloud credits, which basically is dollars towards your infrastructure and your foundation software. So as part of your overall package, you can pick and select what you want. So one of the if you want beyond just what Oracle offers, you can go to the marketplace, the cloud infrastructure marketplace, and you look for different options. There's multiple vendors providing these kind of tools. Pick the one that you want to go with. But typically, when we have deployed SMAC, it has been the best approach. We have found it to be easiest to deploy and scale. Anything you want to add to that in terms of SIEM or those capabilities, Tom?
No, you're absolutely correct in everything you said. There are tools available from Oracle to help with the management of your cloud environment, specifically network monitoring, and as Srini indicated, that there are numbers of third-party products available by third-party vendors that you can utilize in the Oracle Cloud environment. So exactly correct. You covered it very nicely.
Thanks. Okay, look at security. It's called Oracle Security Monitoring Analytics Cloud Service. So SMAC, yes. That's the de facto that integrates best with everything, and it's easy to configure with your with the footprint that you're going to deploy in cloud. So hopefully our question is answered. Next one, so the benefits, improved performance, better data quality. We discussed that in the first couple of slides with on the horizons as well. Actionable insights. Once you go into analytics, you gain visibility into your environment. Autonomous. That's the new direction. Focus more on the data and the quality of data as opposed to how to bring the data together. You just basically pump your data into a data lake or something similar, and now you have access to it. Now your focus is how to best leverage the information that you can get out of it. Suneratech, this is key, and we partner with Oracle very closely, and any organization looking to start their cloud journey, even with the planning we discussed so far, the 5 considerations, proof of value is almost a given. So how do you pick a good sample of workload to migrate to cloud and demonstrate the fact that it can be done, not easily, I would say, but very efficiently, very effectively, and predictable in terms of how long it takes, right? So that's key. Again, there's a multitude of services you can get once you move to cloud. There's the analytics service, data sciences, certainly the business intelligence. And we actually have unless you want to add anything, Tom, I can go into a case study as well.
No, you're good. We'll go into case study.
So we have partnered very closely with Oracle and migrated an automotive company, one of the largest axle manufacturers in the world. And they were in an IBM managed data center, and their TCO, they cost, yearly run rate was 10.4 million with IBM. That included this managed services, included whatever security requirements, and obviously all the infrastructure that had been deployed. We migrated all their workloads to cloud. Okay. There was a significant reduction in managed services driven by the virtualization, the efficiency, and the automation. There was a significant reduction in cloud infrastructure because now you're not having monolithic dedicated hardware. You're able to share, you're able to share hardware in a data center that's built in bulk. As you can see, for those of you who probably already found out, pointed out that security costs have increased significantly. That's because you move away from a dedicated cage in a data center to a cloud infra. There's going to be additional risks. Now, having said that, I would like to point out that these risks exist in the existing environment as well. It's just that as part of this migration, we partnered with the automotive company and addressed these risks that they had not been mitigated in the past. So it is over and above. It was not just we need more security because we're moving to cloud. It is because we need more security in today's world in general. By moving to cloud, you're going to add a couple of additional things, but there's a big chunk of this. This is over and above what they have today. So again, a significant reduction. I believe it's about 58%, close to 58% reduction per year. So over 5 years, that adds to about $30 million. That's again funding that can be given right back to the company towards other initiatives. IT can leverage them for innovation, expanding, and just all in all, it's a very good story. Tom, do you want to add anything?
No, and I just very quickly. I'm sorry. Yes, this kind of you see the cost savings that come up as part of this transition. This has been a great success story, and congratulations to our partner Suneratech for driving this particular opportunity and doing this migration work. It's outstanding work.
So again, a lot of companies are hesitant. The first thing, when you're moving to cloud for the first time is, what will it take? How do we get there? I think we have discussed the 5 key considerations, and that, bring in an SI, bring in some expertise to help you on that journey. And it's not because, it's not lack of capability. It's just for many organizations, you got to manage your current production workloads while working in the cloud as well. So it's to help balance all that as well. The second thing is, the cost of migrating. There's going to be significant investment in terms of planning, in terms of investing, in the migration itself, and possibly procuring new tools, while the old ones retire. So keep in mind that, we've got what is known as zero cost cloud transformation. This is, we're partnered with Oracle to extend this to our customers. So if you decide to migrate your workloads to cloud, Oracle Cloud, and you pick Suneratech as your managed services provider for a 3 to 5 year contract, the migration itself will not be charged upfront. So whether the migration takes 3 months or 6 months, there will be no upfront cost to you for the migration, nor will there be any upfront cost for the cloud consumption. The reason we are partnered on this is because as you migrate to cloud, there's going to be a period of time when you have your existing production footprint and all the costs that go with that, and your cloud infra ramping up. So we want to avoid you having to pay twice, once to the existing provider and services, once to the cloud support model. So it's only after you completely cut over to cloud that you start seeing invoicing, and that's significant. Kind of lowers the hurdle in terms of asking for funding or approval, because there's no major expense upfront. The other thing is, again, you're partnering very closely with Oracle. 3,500 hours in UCC. UCC could be used towards compute, network, storage, any of the SIEM and other capabilities we've discussed. And in addition to that, we, again, like I said, it's a partnership with Oracle. So while Oracle provides 3,500, Suneratech will provide 100 free consulting credits. And this can be used towards a workshop. So, the 5 key considerations, dig into them, delve into them, what it means specifically for your organization. And that could also be used possibly towards a proof of value. Take a small, environment and move it to cloud, given that the free tendency that you get. Anything you want to add to this one, Tom?
No, it is a great value. This is a great opportunity for you as a customer to, one, get your hands on Oracle Cloud and see what it looks and feels like. At the same time, take advantage of Suneratech's expertise to help you through the process. So great opportunity for you as a customer to get familiar with this stuff and give it a try. So very good add-on.
All right, very good. So, Shravati, I believe we can open up for Q&A right now. You can come in via chat, or you can ask a question on the phone, whatever works best for you.
Sure, Srini. The chat is open for everyone to type in their message.
Yeah, we're happy to go back to any of the slides that we went over. If you want to zoom in on any of those, happy to go back. We covered, close to 20 slides overall. Any questions, any comments about, the considerations, any scenario you're experiencing, any questions about the zero cost migration or, the free credits? Pretty open in terms of what you ask.
Srini, there's a question. Someone says, could you share details on how to engage with Suneratech resources?
Yeah, perfect. So at the end of this, what we're going to do is we're going to share this entire deck, and it's going to be on our website. You can email me directly. I will make sure all that information is available. When it comes to cloud infrastructure, if you email me your details, if you what you're looking for, we'll be happy to have one of our experts reach out to you. That's one way immediately. Also want to point out that, if you're attending Open World coming up in September, we will be there, booth 1900, and you can meet us in person as well. And Shravati, I believe we're going to have the opportunity to schedule time, right, with folks over there?
Yes, Srini, we can set up a one-on-one meeting at Oracle booth. Yes.
So I'll provide, we'll make sure you provide my email address as well as Tom's. So you have, both contacts, and we'll be happy to engage. And if you could, we have your registration detail. So, we will definitely reaching out to you as well. The next question, I believe, is which client have you migrated to cloud so far? So there's multiple. And some names can be revealed because client wants a privacy, but there's some that are more public. So we have migrated Chipotle, for example, to cloud. We work with Blackstone, Greenworks. So these companies have migrated their workloads to cloud, and we have already also doing managed services for them, both infrastructure and in some cases application managed services as well. And across these, I would like to follow up on Oracle Cloud. Yes. So that again, Oracle Cloud, Chipotle, the big automotive we mentioned, over 80 workloads. Also Oracle Cloud, 2 regions, Ashburn for primary and Phoenix for disaster recovery. The next question is, so hopefully Dominic, I've answered your question. Next is from Saurabh. How do cloud credits work? Tom, you want to pick that up? How do cloud credits work?
Yep, let me take that one. Very, very simply. Oracle Cloud, our infrastructure and our platform as a service products are sold based on credits. So what happens is if you're utilizing one of the compute components, for example, and it's one core equivalent costs $1 an hour, for example. That's a dollar credit, if you will. So based on what you configure and what you build, you may have compute, you might have storage, you might have some database, you might have some other components that'll add up to what your requirements are going to be. And then what you do is purchase enough credits to run that for a monthly period. If you use more credits, you'll get there's no additional cost. You'll just get a secondary bill from Oracle. So your credits are very simply, you buy the credits based on what your requirements are, and that can be determined by utilizing the cloud estimator product that is at cloud.oracle.com, or work closely with your Suneratech team to determine what your requirements are going to be, the number of credits I need to purchase. And then as you use those credits throughout a month, you just wear down the number of credits. It's kind of like a Starbucks card, where you have a Starbucks card with $25 on it. Each time I get a coffee, it's now worth $24. That's that same type of thinking. Hope that helps.
Yep, thanks. So Paul asked a question, do you have an autonomous focus? Yeah, absolutely. We have a practice that's focusing on autonomous, both from an autonomous data warehouse and autonomous transaction processing. So, whether you're looking to leverage data for your warehousing, BI, and, moving forward to data lakes and so on, that's one approach. The other is for, transaction processing, especially handy when you have homegrown applications. And they work well with many of the Oracle apps as well, but we have found ATP to be most effective in deployments where you have a relatively small footprint. You don't want to have the overhead of complete DBA services, support, and infrastructure. You're more interested in the data than how to create a SQL table or run SQL commands. Dari, I think you asked a question on why Oracle Cloud. So Chipotle was migrating Oracle applications. So twofold. One, like we discussed earlier, from performance standpoint, application and particularly Oracle database running on Oracle, the Exadata cloud service are the best bang for the buck in terms of performance and price. The second thing is, if you look at the licensing, Dominic, if you have a one CPU license, that translates to 2 OCPUs in Oracle Cloud, but 1 vCPU elsewhere. So right off the bat, you're getting twice as much horsepower. So from they don't have to increase the licensing requirements. In fact, they, if you're going from 1 to 2 in terms of CPU to OCPUs, you could potentially add additional environments for your testing and QA as well, without requiring additional licenses. And of course, the performance as well. So that was the primary reason. And then the other thing is, there's for many applications, including EBS, there is ERP rather. There's you could do ERP SaaS, or you could do migrate EBS to OCI. If you migrate EBS to OCI and use infrastructure as a service, then you've got the ability to monitor and manage those to cloud. The next question, Saurabh asks, how does it perform in Oracle? So it's a good question. It's all comparable. Ultimately, it goes back to that one of the questions we asked earlier, right? Is the compatibility, right? What operating system are you on? What version of the application are you on? What is going to be a path of least resistance as well? If you're going to have to move an application to Oracle Cloud, but you have to go through 10 upgrades and 16 changes and patching, then that's probably not the best solution. Similarly, if you're going to have to move an Oracle application to AWS, but not without applying 25 patches and doing 3 upgrades and changing the operating system, then that kind of automatically is a negative, right? So back to considerations, your workloads, it's all driven by your workloads. And many customers will end up with Sure, go ahead.
I was going to comment on it a little bit further. It's just, it depends on the workload. I mean, if it's an Oracle workload, it's going to run better on Oracle, no question about it. Many non-Oracle workloads run very well in Oracle Cloud. SAP is a great example. A number of SAP customers have moved over to Oracle Cloud, as have a lot of other third parties, if you will, and run very, very successfully. So we mentioned earlier, if it's a Microsoft product, Yes, it can run on Oracle Cloud. It's probably going to run better on a Microsoft Azure environment than Oracle Cloud. So it goes back to the comment Srinivas made earlier, is look at you need to understand what your workloads are and really look at that very closely, and that'll help determine where you want to go. Okay.
So in addition to, setting out the posting this on our, on our website, the recording and the deck itself, I'm just sharing my email address here. Feel free to reach out to me directly with your question, Dominic or anyone else, and we'll put you in touch with one of our, practice heads or experts, specific to an application that you're looking to migrate as well. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions, folks? We got a few more minutes. Shravanti, I don't see any other questions, but can they ask a question over the phone on audio, or is it limited to chat only?
This is limited to chat only, Srini.
Okay, all right, got it.
There is an unanswered question on the top. Someone asked, how is the performance of non-Oracle applications on Oracle Cloud in comparison to the other cloud providers?
I think we just answered that, actually.
Right, yeah.
Yes, answered.
All right, okay.
All right, very good.
That was a wonderful session, Srini. Thank you so much, Srini and Tom, for taking out time and giving out this session. We will keep another 1 minute slot open for any questions. Also, we have this question and answers poll at the bottom. If you have any questions, you can directly click on this and send this to us. Or you can contact us through contact us form, which is in Suneratech website. We have your registration detail ID. So we're going to send a copy of this presentations along with the recording in an email. And for any questions related to this webinar or any of Suneratech service offerings, you can directly contact us onto the website. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.